Hello everyone, and here we are. We're at the last class for the Spring Summit. So I'm hoping that all of you have had such a good time making these three gorgeous flowers. I love every single one of them, especially this upgraded version. And we have my team here. We have Brittany sitting right over here, and she's going to ask me questions. So if you have questions, what I'm going to ask that you do is ask the questions, or she's going to call out the questions that pertain to what I'm working on. I'm going to show you how to do hand-tied bouquets and how to wrap them up for gifts. And then after we're done, we'll go ahead and open it for kind of a general Q&A where we can answer any of your questions, if that will work, right? We're good on that, Brittany? Okay, so if you have a question, go ahead and capital Q and then write your question. And even if it's out of order, we'll just try to keep those ready for the second round when I'm asking any, when you can ask any questions at all. All right, wow, what a beautiful day. It's nice and sunny here in Portland, which we need that. So do we have any shout outs of where people are coming from to watch this fun little finale for our Spring Summit?
Yes, we have the UK, we have Wisconsin, Florida, Baton Rouge, Israel, Ohio,
nice,
Oregon, all over the place.
All over, okay. I love that. I love this whole international thing, and hopefully you are able to get crepe paper over there on the other side of the pond. We're working on it for you, as you know. All right, so what I wanted to show you first is how to take these flowers that you've made. I have all three of them sitting here. I have my peonies here. They're kind of hiding a bit. And I'm going to show you a basic, really easy way to make a beautiful hand-tied arrangement that's really easy to give to someone, and it's already kind of pre-done for them. It's taking a bit of the technique from making a bridal bouquet, but not quite as finished as a bridal bouquet. It's more of a bouquet that you can drop into a vase. And a lot of this technique and tips that I'm going to share with you are from the days when I used to own the flower shop. And I had a couple of ladies, they were from the Czech Republic, that worked for me, and they both had a lot of more of a European style of designing flowers, and this was something that was very common in Europe at that point, which was a long time ago. So what we would find in our flower shop, that people would come in and they would want to just grab a pretty bouquet, and a lot of the grocery stores are doing this now, but I think that what I'm going to teach you is a little more refined than that. So let's get going. Anything we need to shout out yet, or are we good to go?
No, we just got people from all over. No questions.
Okay, so what I want to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and use all 12 roses for the first bouquet. And if you want to give someone a 12 rose crepe paper bouquet, this is such a great way to do it. So what I will do, if I'm doing fresh flowers, I'll generally start with my greens. But when I'm doing crepe paper, because the greenery is so precious, as you know, because you've been making them, that I'll add that at the end and start with the flowers. So generally, I think a really good rule of thumb when you're doing a hand-tied bouquet or any bouquet, I think the easiest structure for a bouquet is to think in triangles. So you'll want to make your bouquet somewhat of a triangle shape. When you place your flowers, you'll keep them in triangles. We are doing 12 flowers today, but in general, I would say, odd numbers are really good. So 3 is a great number to work with. So I'm starting here. We can go ahead and do the overhead, and I'll just sort of show you my technique. Now, as you're working on these, you're going to have to use one hand to hold on to all your stems. No, they're going to fly around a bit, but as long as you keep them in the general area, you can always rearrange them when you're done. So there's my first triangle. On my buds, I went ahead and added some leaves. I just thought that was a nice touch. You don't have to do that, but just so you know that that's why they're there. So I'm going to actually replace this one. I want my bud to come up higher. So there's my first triangle, and then I'll just continue and add flowers in a triangular shape. And as you can see, I am kind of pushing some of the flowers out to the edge because I feel like that gives a really nice look. So I'll add another big one here, and you can see my hand. I'm just kind of gathering and You can kind of maybe lay your hand on the table. That might be helpful. I want to put another big rose, so I think I'll add it here. And as you're adding more, you'll see less of the triangle shape. You might even want to move down on your stems, but make sure you have a hold of at least the tips of your stems. So let's see, now I'm going to add another bud, and I think I want to add one here. And you can see how I'm beginning to shape more of the triangle. I have my third largest rose. So now my three roses that are the biggest are in a triangle. I'm going to move this one down and slide in a smaller rose between, just to break it up a bit. Look how fast this is going. All right, I'm losing some of my flowers back here, but that's okay, because once you have them in place and bound, the base is bound up, then you can move them around just a bit. And then I think my last rose, I can't believe oh, one more. Okay, so we have three. So we have three buds. I have one on the top, one here. I'm gonna move this one here. And you can kind of rearrange things as you go. And then I think I'll put my last bud. I don't want to put all three on the edge, so I'm gonna make a triangle there. And that's a fairly easy to do arrangement. You can move things around a bit. Now at this point, if you want to make it easier, I'm going to bind the base. And one of my favorite things to use when I'm binding the base is this bind wire. Look at that. And this is actually the original purpose of the bind wire, or one of them. This is one of the original purposes. So here I am, I'm keeping a hold of this in my one hand, and I've got my wire cutters here. I'm just gonna cut myself a piece. And one of the things, you know, when we were making large bouquets, like bridal bouquets, we would actually bind as we went so that we could keep things in place. But I think you can hold all 12 of them and then bind that around. The wire's nice because it keeps it, you can twist it rather than have to tie it. Now I'm going to start adding my leaves. Now this hand-tied bouquet is a pretty compact bouquet because we are putting it in the paper. So I'll just add my leaves in, kind of add some in between because you do want to have some space between your flower heads, and make sure that when you slide a green or a leaf in between that you're grabbing the wire on the bottom. You can also lengthen these if you feel like you want it some longer. I'm going to go ahead and use all of my rose leaves first, and then I'll add a bit of these other greens that we made on the side, which are the eucalyptus. Okay, I'll use these first. But you guys can kind of see the thought behind arranging now. You know, if you always think triangle and you keep, I'm gonna pull some of these out a bit more now that I see them. Now that I'm seeing my things come together. If you kind of think triangular shape and you kind of keep things in threes and in triangles once you're doing your bouquet. We're using one flower, which actually makes it a lot easier. Okay, I still have my bind wire here, so I'm going to bind it some more. But if you are doing multiple flowers, that's also how you might want to arrange your flowers. Say if you're using roses, you kind of keep them in triangles, and then you add a second flower, you can work between that. So your main flower you can kind of, and again, this is a rule to be broken, you guys, but this is just a good base rule for beginner flower arranging. You can see how it's wider at the base and a little higher at the front. That's always just an easy. I'm gonna get some more bind wire here, and then okay, this is fun. We're almost done with this bouquet. Well, not quite. We have some other things we want to do to it. I'm going to add some of this. Okay. And I don't have a lot of stems, so I'm going to use it sparingly because I want to use them on at least 2 bouquets. So see how I'm just adding some green behind the side of this edge. This is a good time for questions too. Yeah. This is a great way to just kind of create a base for your flowers and also to fill in. Thanks, I like that angle, yep. I can show you the back of it too. Going overhead. And you know, if you're doing something where you want the back to be finished, because we are putting them in paper and we're wrapping them to give as a gift, it is technically a one-sided bouquet, but there are ways to cover this. I'm just not going to do that in this video, but I have other videos that share that technique, and we will be doing more. I want some more green right in here just to break this up. Okay, sorry, I interrupted the question.
Oh, no,
Brittany.
no, it's totally fine. Well, someone made a statement, and maybe you can explain a little bit, but it says, I do not see the triangle. Maybe it will be more clear on the other flowers.
You know, when I say triangle, I don't mean a sharp triangle, but what I'm saying, or you can even look at it as a dome. What I'm pointing out is that we have a height in the center, and then it's, you know, angled on the sides, and then we're at the widest at the base. So that's my triangle. It's not like a literal triangle, but it's more of a kind of a spatial, making sure that, because if you had it really wide at the base or at the top, it would look top heavy, where you want sort of the base to be the widest and the center top to be the most pointed. Now, again, if you're doing a more advanced bouquet, there are so many ways to break that rule, but this is just a great starter rule. Rule of thumb.
Great.
So yes, go ahead.
And then there's one other question. So do you ever work with longer flower stems?
Yes, I do. And you can, you know, even if you have a 10-inch stem or a 12-inch stem, you can add wires to the base to make them longer. In this case, I actually like this length, and you can see here how some of the wires are longer and they taper down. I'm going to show you how to cover that and finish it so that it looks great, and then someone can just drop it into a vase when they get it home like this. So, but you know, even this is almost too long because I want them to sit nestled in this vase, so this is almost too long. I might even bend those up. Okay, so, but it really depends on the vase too. Now I'm tying off, I'm binding off the back here. Okay, to finish the back of the stem, and this is a technique that I would use. Okay, see how I'm bending up a couple of these wires just to make a nice even, and also because I want it shorter for my vase. So this is going back to, I'm kind of bouncing around here. Okay, so I just bent up the wires so it makes it even. You can also test that in a vase if you want to. And again, this would need a taller vase because it could use a bit more height. A technique that I use a lot for making bridal bouquets is I would then take and put floral tape all the way down this to make a nice thick solid base. Now, I don't necessarily want to do that on this because it feels like this could be something you might want to break apart later and use it again, and the floral tape gets messy. So you can use floral tape if you'd like to and give it a nice finish, or, and of course we would always cover the floral tape, or you can just take more of this bind wire and give it kind of a nice, my ring just hooked on that. Just kind of wrap it around like this to give it a nice finish so that it doesn't break apart. That is an option. This won't show. We're going to cover it up one more time. Okay, Brittany, is there any other questions yet?
Let's see. Yes. So Sharon is asking, what does the recipient do with the bouquet on the backside?
So what I would say for this, the reason why I'm doing a one-sided bouquet, you'll see, is because I'm actually going to use this paper to wrap it so it's almost like a gift wrap. So if there's flowers on the back of the bouquet right now and you put it towards the paper, they will get crushed. And we know from experience that the best way to exchange flowers, whether it be shipping or handing off or putting in your car, is you really do not want your flowers to touch anything. You want the flowers to touch air. That's the best way to ship or to move it around. So that's why I'm keeping it all to one side. Now, if the recipient wants to use this as a one-sided bouquet that goes, say, on a mantle, it's perfect because no one will see the backside. If they're using it, say, on their dining room table and there'll be people on both sides, then this is a point where they can kind of rearrange and pull them apart. And having this nice dome shape makes it easy for them to kind of fill out the back as well. Of course, it won't be as full because you're taking all the flowers and moving them to all the sides. but it will still be beautiful. Let me show you how to finish the stem, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it. Okay, so I am just going to lay it on the table very gently, and this is very temporarily so we won't crush them. There we go. And show you guys a couple different things. This is my favorite thing to do, especially for bridal bouquets, but I also enjoy this for a hand-tied bouquet to give to someone because it's so beautifully finished. Here's opaque ribbon. These two are silk, and I don't expect you all to have silk ribbon in your stash. It's just something that I love, so I have a lot of it. The beautiful thing about silk ribbon is that it moves around really easily. So it's easy to wrap and shape around the stem. This is a grosgrain ribbon, and it's fairly inexpensive. This one we picked up at a craft store. So I'm going to show you the grosgrain ribbon just to show you the technique of doing this. So I'll take a piece, I'll leave about 6 inches on the top, and you can leave more if you want to tie a bow, but I'm not going to tie a bow. So I'm going to just use my thumb and start wrapping. And this just gives it, I like to use green on my stems usually because it then just blends in. And as you can see, I'm getting a bit tangled here, so I'll go ahead and cut it. This is a great use for recycling ribbon because if you have a ribbon that has wrinkles or it's been used before, this gives a stem a nice look, but you don't really need, uh-oh, I shouldn't have cut it that far. I needed a longer ribbon. All right, I'm gonna do something here. All right, I needed a longer ribbon. One thing I could do is I could pin it, or let's see, I'm thinking on my feet here. I'll go ahead and cut another piece. All right, this is something I wasn't anticipating. I would probably you could do a hot glue and glue them together and then just keep going. But in this case, because I don't have my hot glue, I'm going to tie it and it will look fine. Yeah, this happens to all of us, you guys. All right, now's a great time for questions while I'm setting this up.
We do have a couple. So Tasha's asking, I added the leaves directly to the flowers. Will they work okay in the bouquet?
Yes. The part of the reason why I suggest to not add them to the flowers is then you have more control where the leaves go. However, if you did, it's going to be beautiful. You can see that I added my leaves to my my buds, and it looked good as well. You may not end up having as many leaves if you did add them to your bouquet or your flowers, your stems. It may look like you don't have as much because some of them are hiding. Now I'll see if I can kind of tuck that away. Although it's kind of pretty, I might just leave it. I like that little knot. I think we'll just leave it. So the point is that you'll want to go back up the stem here. And then when you get to the top, you can tie a little knot. That double-sided knot works well, and you can see how cute that looks. And then I'll cut it at an angle. All right. Another question, Brittany?
Yeah. So added my leaves to my flowers. Is it better to keep your greens separate? Sorry.
Yes, I think it is. You know, don't worry if you added them to your flowers, but if you go ahead and use it. But if you keep them separate, you'll have more opportunity to make sure they show. I'm going to show you how this looks in the vase. So the nice thing about finishing the stem like this, your recipient can drop them in a clear vase and it looks beautiful. You don't have all those wire stems, or they can have, you know, any type of vase. I would put this in a taller vase, but you can see look how perfect that is. They get the bouquet and boom, it's done. And of course it wouldn't tip over quite that much. And again, for a fireplace, this is perfect. For setting on a table that's against a wall, that looks perfect. If they are wanting to make it on a table, they can just kind of rearrange it themselves. But the nice thing again is once you have it all wired and in, it's really easy to move around. All right, so here's the next part. We gave you guys a challenge to give these away, right? So I wanted to show you a fun way to arrange them. Oh, look, this is really cute. I have this little bolt of, look how cute that is. Ta-da, done. All right, so I am using just a brown paper, and you can use the same technique using some sort of gift wrap if you want to. Maybe make it a two-sided gift wrap. I think lighter weight gift wrap works better. I have 3 different pieces here, but I wanted to show you guys a fun trick that I do all the time. I don't know why I do this, but I do. So I want my paper to be as square as possible. I need to cut off this end. This is something that see if I can do it on camera. So rather than cutting and getting that chop, what I'm going to do is actually slide my blade. And it's almost like a double-sided knife here. And then I get a nice smooth cut. And if you want to, you can take your pinking shears and you can trim the edges so they look pretty. I'm going to move those 2 because I am only going to use 1 page. All right, our camera's a little limited, but we'll see what we can do here. All right, I will set the bouquet, and I know that I want my bouquet to be within the top of the square, so you can see how I'm going to move this. I'll retrieve these later. So I want it to be at the top triangle of the square here. Then I'll fold this up. You might have to fold this a couple times to make it work. And I don't really want to touch any of my flowers here on this first fold. So I'll go underneath. I'm going to pull it back down again. Then I'll take this side and I'll wrap it down like this. And then you can do another fold like this. And you're almost making a little pillow to put your flowers in. We'll do the same thing over here, where we don't want to go up because then it's going to cover the flowers, but we'll go over and then we'll go up again. I might have needed a bigger piece of paper, but what I'll do is I'll just pull this flower out. And you can also, this is actually another good idea. What you could do on this too is you could actually make it go underneath your leaves and flowers and then keep everything below. That's actually a better idea. So you'll fold it up and then fold it under. And it makes this really pretty little flower envelope.
There's a comment that I like. Can I
yes.
put it up?
Oh, please do.
Sharon says, I'm having baby swaddling flashbacks.
Totally. That's adorable. All right, so now we have this funky little triangle here. And I love to use different things. You can use like a baker's twine. I'm going to use this twine right here from my beautiful vase. And I want, I don't know, probably 3 feet or so of baker's twine. Don't shortchange yourself like I did on my ribbon. And then you'll place it right under, kind of pull it up a bit. You know, it's funny, you're tying a knot on a triangle, so it's going to pull down on you. So you have to kind of, and then I'm going to bunch it up like that. I'm going to tie it in a double knot here, or you can tie it in a bow as well. But part of the reason is we have these for you guys. So you can go ahead and print out, I think we have them right there in the downloads with this video. We have these cute little tags that we made for you guys, and I've cut some out. I have 3 of them, and it's our little artwork that says "The Earth Laughs and Flowers" that Gia illustrated for us. And then the back just says "Handmade with love for you," and then you can write a little note on the inside. And we tried to make sure that they matched all of the bouquets. So slide that in, and you can tie it off. And you know, you guys can use whatever color of wrapping paper or string. I love this brown paper packages wrapped up with string look. You know, it's a little, it brings good happy thoughts from my childhood. So it's up to you and your style and what you like to do, but this is just an option. And here we go. What a beautiful gift. I mean, how happy would someone be to get this? What do you think? All right, we're gonna keep going. I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the flowers so you guys can see, but I have to hop down and grab my paper that I dropped on the floor. All right, how about some questions? Any questions going on? Okay. All right, let's do this again. I'm gonna go with the peonies next. And you know, honestly, right there, boom, that's a beautiful bouquet, right? But we want to set it up so that we can put it into this wrap, so we don't want the heads to move around. I may not use all these peonies, we'll see. And these stems are not that long, so you really have to kind of think about. That's why I like staggering the flowers, because then you get some length. So I'm staggering these. I think I have an extra peony anyway because I made one. I made an extra one. So I'm going to do 3 of the peonies, and again I'll place them in somewhat of a triangle shape here. And then I have 2 buds going on there. Does this one have a bud? Okay, I'll use this one because it has a bud. So these, I think I can't remember, it's been so long since I did the video, but I think I showed you all how to put the buds right onto the stems. Do you remember, Brittany?
I do.
Did we do that?
Wait, so the question you asked me.
Yes.
Was,
did we put all the buds on the stems in the video?
Sure,
okay, yeah. So you can see how I'm kind of pulling and arranging a bit. And then I have 3 of these little guys. Let's see. Actually, yes, I am going to use all of them. Now, you know, I'm not doing a sharp point on the top, but this is the center is definitely the highest. So in this case, it may look more like a dome, but it still has that basic triangle idea.
We do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So Chantal is asking, would you use the same principle with fewer flowers in your bouquet, say 3 or 5 stems?
And that would be the triangle?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think back, you guys, of all the arrangements that I've done, and I think in general, again, for a basic arrangement, I would always try and make somewhat of a triangle or a dome. I think I'll pull this one down here. Although now we have them all at the bottom.
And also, just a quick other question.
Uh-huh.
So Rebecca's asking, how large is the paper that you use?
Yeah, let me measure that for you guys. It's almost, if it were any smaller, it would be too small. So, okay, I like that arrangement. You see how I kind of worked it and I moved some things around? But we have a kind of a triangle of the peonies. I'm not necessarily following the triangle rule with these others. I'm just sort of filling them in and making the space make sense. How's that? But you get this sort of triangle dome shape. All right, I have to tie this off because my hand is getting tired. I'll use this ribbon, this. Yeah, your hands, they get a little tired holding these. And it's sort of falling away as I'm releasing it, but that's okay because once I get this tied off, I can rearrange them. Again, the great thing about this wire versus twine is you can twist it. You don't have to tie it.
While you're doing that, we do have a question from a couple people. It seems like it's a similar question. Would you ever make a bouquet using all the flowers from the course together, of just each, instead of each flower separately?
Yeah, you can. I felt like, you know, the reason why I didn't do them all together for this particular video is they are all 3 such spectacular flowers on their own. They're almost the focal flowers. I think roses can go both ways. They can be a focal flower or kind of a secondary flower, but definitely peonies and Icelandic poppies are very focal. If you're making a bouquet with all of them, absolutely, it would be a big bouquet. And you would want to give it a little space. But I think, you know, originally I looked at them together. I'm like, oh, do they go together? I don't know. And then I photographed that banner, the bar with all 3 of them. And I thought it was so pretty. So, you know, if that works for you. If you're doing that, I would probably add more length to your stems because you will want your bouquet to be pretty big if you're adding that much. Okay, now I'm going to use the rest of these guys and fill in And look how just finished it looks to have that extra greenery in there, you know, it just, oh, I just love it. And the way they sort of fall. I'm just going to slide one in here. I like having a little breathing room between the two, and that green gives the space. And then I'll put one right up here. Ah, that's so pretty. More questions? Any questions? Brittany is multitasking. She's running a camera and asking the questions.
I am not seeing any other right now.
Okay. All right, get this nice and tight.
I also hear that it's hard to hear me, so I'll try to be louder.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not very good at remembering to repeat those questions.
We're putting them up on the screen.
Okay, good.
I think we're all right.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to twist that off. And all right, you guys, I have my wires going the same direction, so I can't, you know, I can't twist them off. So I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm taking one of the wires and looping it around one of the stems. And then that way it gives me something to base the finish tightness on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with those. This one keeps wanting to fall away, but I'm gonna slide it down a bit. Go ahead and call out any questions as they come, because this is a sort of a similar
We do have
technique.
a question. So Linda is asking, what is the name of the wire again?
So this is the bind wire, and I'll show you that we have 3 in our shop. And you know, if you guys are familiar with this wire at this point, we have 3 different colors in our shop. You'll know it by us using it between stems. For instance, we used the bind wire to make this eucalyptus between the leaves, so there are stems between the leaves. We do this a lot now. We actually love this wire for that. So this is just another purpose for it. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull off a piece here. It does, when you unroll it, it kind of spins out. I like to keep them, when I finish cutting a piece off, I like to wrap it back up. This is just me. And then kind of anchor it in so it doesn't spin, because otherwise it just kind of goes, it unravels.
So we have a couple other questions.
Mm-hmm.
Carol is asking, my granddaughter who is 9 is playing Annie in 2 weeks, so I want to do this for her.
Oh,
Can I do
yes.
the peonies and add roses to her hand type?
Yes, absolutely. I think that would be beautiful. So look how we have the peonies and roses together. You could mix, oh here, sorry, Matthew. I need to follow the camera. You could mix these together, and how beautiful that would be. And if you feel like you want, I think this is a perfect size for a 9-year-old. But if you wanted to make a bigger bouquet, you might want to lengthen the stems a bit. Okay.
And then Christine is asking, the extra greenery, what is it?
So the extra greenery, I actually did a demo for everyone. I did a live, what was it, about 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, right? I did a live and showed everyone how to make it. And I believe the pattern is also in that post. And I would, let me see, where would it be? Would it be in the rose? We'll make sure we have a link for you. So it's a eucalyptus, and I made it specifically for this application here of adding it into our bouquets. So I showed you a technique on how to do it. Yes, I love this idea of doing the paper flowers to give to people at events. You know, this is a great Mother's Day bouquet. You know, give it to your child at a play, absolutely, or graduation. I think that's a great way to use these flowers. Make sure you share pictures of her. All right, there I have it bound. And in this case, yeah, I guess I could use this ribbon. I usually do green, but I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna do this pink one today, just to show a little variety. Try not to cut it too short this time. All right, so again, I'm gonna show you the demo again. I'm starting at the top and just winding it down, nice and tight. You don't have to overlap it much because you will be doing a second roll. Up, up. Getting down to the bottom here, I want to cover the base of the stems as best I can. Keep it straight. And now I feel confident that I can cut it without cutting it too short.
You have a question?
Uh-huh.
So Lisa is asking, do you think it's necessary to have rose leaves included in a rose bouquet, or is it fine to use other leaves?
It's fine to use other leaves. Yeah, you don't have to. I had all those rose leaves done, and I specifically kept them on their own stems for this purpose. I use whatever greenery you have. Absolutely. And we recycle greenery all the time. It's kind of a premium in our studio because we're always needing it. All right, there's the second one. Can you show me, Matthew? Oh, there we go. Okay. There's the second one. Is that gorgeous? Ready to drop into a vase. Boom. I'm telling you, I'm really liking this as a vase. And we'll go ahead and wrap it. These are already cut squares, so place it. So this time I'm going to be doing it a little smoother than last time since it's my second. You can see how I'm just folding it almost at a direct angle here and then tucking it underneath the flowers. Do you like all that wrinkled paper sound, you guys? And then tucking the third one in like this. Give myself some string. All right, let me see here. Wrapping paper, I'm peeking over my shoulder to make sure that I'm getting everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. All right. So what do you think? Are we good on these two, or do you want me to do the poppy as well? The poppies are bigger, so it's a little different. Should we do a third time round demo?
We'll see.
Get some votes?
Yeah.
If you're tying this knot by yourself, maybe have somebody help you. It might be easier. Sometimes having an extra hand would be really helpful. And since I did not add that tag, I'll go ahead and undo it and do that. I almost feel like it works better just to do a double knot. And the way that this is set up, it's quite easy for them to slide the flowers out of the paper without needing to untie this part.
So it looks like a resounding yes for the poppy.
All right, let's do the poppies. Yay, at least I'm not boring.
I don't think you could be boring.
Well, I don't know. Okay, there's the peonies. All right, poppies. Here we go. All right, these are a little different. I have only 2 orange poppies, and I think if I were, I mean, you can do 2 orange poppies in a bouquet. I think ideally I might do 3, but 2 would be fine. So because of that, oh, I have some that are unfinished in here too. I'm gonna go ahead and do the 2 orange poppies. I'm gonna just show you guys what to do when you have 2 of something. So I'll start with those because they're kind of my odd man out. And I'm going to, this one's sticking way up, which I love. I'm going to position them so they kind of offset each other like this. I think that's a nice way to kind of clustered. You want to, if you only have 2, I would suggest maybe trying to cluster them rather than keep them too far apart. And then I'll start laying my other poppies inside. I might want one here, and this would be a good place. Let's see, let me do this one. This would be a good place up here to have a poppy at an angle, so you're not seeing the full face. I think that makes it interesting. We'll see what happens when we try to wrap it in paper though, because again, you don't want to crush it. I'm trying to move the poppy pod over to the other side. That's why we love wire, you guys. Wire is the best thing for paper flowers. All right. So, because I have 2, I'm going to go ahead and do 3 rather than 4. I have an extra one here, but I think that makes a better composition. Can you guys hear my dog snoring? Because he's kind of adorable. I can hear him snoring. All right, there's my composition for 2 and 3. And I'm feeling like I want one more poppy pod. I happen to have one here because I think this one did not have a poppy pod on it. They're not easy to hold. They're kind of wanting to move all over the place. And that's okay. All right, get my wire out. I really feel like poppies are one of the happiest flowers. This is just a handful of sunshine. If you're feeling like you're having a hard time, like I'm kind of struggling here, holding everything in place, don't get too stressed out about it. In fact, if you want to put your wire on less than super tight, and then you can kind of pull stems out and arrange them a bit from that, and then tighten it up at the end. You could try that technique as well if you feel like it's just a lot for your hands. Now, I do not have any more of my eucalyptus because I used it all, but I do have this other eucalyptus that we had from another project, and I think I will just throw in a couple sprays. I think it looks really pretty. It has a longer stem, so I'll bend it up. And I'm going to show you guys the triangle again when I'm done.
Could you show us the size of the paper?
Yes, the size of the paper. Let's see, do I have a ruler? I probably just need to guess here. Okay, I know. All right. All right, so what do we got here? We are 18, I would say 18, 19, 20, like 22 square, 22-inch square. Is going to be my pretty good guess. All right, so here's my triangle. And because poppies are wild and fun, I love the idea of just kind of throwing these eucalyptus a little bit higher. In fact, I might even put one on the top here. So now you definitely see a triangle there. But having them sort of splay out really big is a really great look. And this particular eucalyptus is a different one than the one that I showed you. This is one that Megan did a while ago, so we do have the tutorial for that as well. And in that video, she does make her eucalyptus less combined and a little more spray. So I think this is a great combo for that. I'll go ahead and use the rest of my bind wire to wrap this up. And I think I'm going to do a little different technique here. So since I have a brown stems from my other eucalyptus, I have my brown paper. This is a very more organic, almost wildflower looking. I'm going to use this bind wire to just finish my stem. And right now I'm just going to give it a quick bind all the way down, and then I'll go back to the top and I'll do a really nice, even, tight. And that will be my finished look. You could also do this with twine if you don't want to use up your bind wire. Bind wire is pretty inexpensive though, so this is a great material to use. And if you pull the bouquet apart, you can always recycle the bind wire. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
But I think it looks beautiful.
Funny, you guys, I love this one. I love this one. It's almost my favorite. I can't say it's my favorite. That's like which child is my favorite. Good thing I only have one child. But look how pretty that looks to have that kind of rustic, it almost looks like a raffia or a twine around it. And that would look so pretty in a vase. So I showed you 3 different versions. I showed you a green ribbon, a ribbon with kind of a pink coral hue, and then this sort of more raffia. I've also seen this sort of bind wire raffia natural a lot on boutonnieres for weddings, which I'm going to let you guys know we will be doing a full masterclass on wedding flowers. So boutonnieres, corsages, bouquets, etc., and so on. Flower crowns. Right now I'm going to place it into my paper and do the same thing. I have a lot more here, so I'm going to really tuck it under.
We have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, Diana is asking, or stating, I love the more organic look, and then would it be possible to create a rustic look with the peonies or even the roses?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think the peonies and the roses, because I designed them a little more compact, but you could definitely, I would say if you want them a little more rustic, put longer stems on them so that the stems can have a bit more free form. And just a quick tip on stems, the only thing I would do to make a longer stem is just take another piece of your wire. You can maybe cut some of your thick stem wires down and use them for different flowers, and then add them to overlap them a bit, and then just bind them on. And by the time they're at the end, no one will see that part of the stem, so it's okay if it's not perfectly smooth. So I would just bind them on with floral tape and then finish them up with the crepe paper if you want to. Rustic look. Okay, I absolutely love this. This is so pretty.
Are loving the poppy bouquet the most as well.
I think I do too. I really do. I think the peony is probably my second favorite, and well, I'm glad you guys talked me into doing it.
We have a question.
Yes.
Any chances your store will carry the longer wires?
No, the reason why is of shipping. So we have to be really careful. Shipping is expensive, as you all know. And when we have materials that are too long, then the shipping just gets out of hand. The box size really makes a difference. So I think the most economical way to use wire, whether you're buying it from, what I found for most of the time, okay, there's my third one, and we'll talk for a second, and then we'll go back to this. So what I have found for most of my wires is that I end up cutting a lot of them off anyway, and then I have all this wasted wire. And to me, wire is precious. Like, I want to use every single inch of it. I always keep a little dish of all my extra wires here, which I almost always find uses for them. So I find most of the time I end up clipping my wires more often than needing a longer wire. I think the best thing is to work with your shorter wires. It's not short, but it's shorter than that. And when you do need the longer wire, just use your extra pieces to bind on to the end. It's more economical, both in shipping and also for you, because then you're not wasting all this wire that you end up cutting. Yes, question. I thought you raised your hand.
I know, right?
Okay, so that, yeah.
Yeah, nope.
So that makes the most sense, I think, for you guys cost-wise as well, because wire's not free.
There is a question.
Yes.
So Wendy is asking, how do you recommend making a bouquet? And statement, I made my poppies and peonies with stick stems. So how would you put those together?
With thick stems?
Yes.
Yeah, I prefer the thick stems. I do. So I'm not quite sure what was her question. So the thick
Sorry,
stems.
I asked it out of order because the question's at the end. She mentioned, I made my poppies and peony with thick stems. How do you recommend making a bouquet?
Oh, you do the same thing. Yeah. So I'm assuming you mean these stems right here. So by the time we were done with our poppies and roses and peonies, I tried to have even my thinner 18 gauge wire stems looking like this. So it'd be the same because they do bend. You can move them. If you find that, again, some of it sticks out too far, you can just bend it up easy enough and tie it off. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have another question. So Linda is asking, if you have a vase, the wire is just a few inches too short, is there something you can put in to give some height, like marbles or stones?
Yes. One of our tricks, you guys, is we use rice. So just add some rice on the bottom. We use rice also to kind of keep it in place. Is there rice in here? Yes, there is, of course. Most of our vases have rice in them. So as you can see, there's rice in the bottom. And these are all tied up now, but it kind of keeps it lodged in the bottom. It also gives weight to the vase. It never really goes bad. It doesn't spoil. I've never seen bugs in my rice, little critters. So rice seems to be kind of our go-to. And, you know, just buy inexpensive bulk rice at the grocery store that you wouldn't necessarily, you know, eat, but you can keep it for your flower designs, of course. We won't be selling that on our site, by the way. I'm kidding. Okay.
Melody Joy is asking, what kind of paper are you using?
So this is just it's an inexpensive craft paper that we use to cover our tables when we need to do painting or any sort of craft. So it's very inexpensive. I don't know if you guys have an IKEA there in Boise, but you can pick this up at IKEA. You can also get it at any of the Home Depots have rolls. It's more like a painting paper, but I like the thinner version. Sometimes at Home Depot they have a thicker, almost cardboard style. And again, you guys can use gift wrap. Gift wrap is a beautiful way to finish this off as well. I like the lighter weight gift wrap for this particular one because then you can get the nice bunch at the bottom. Yeah.
Great. No questions right now, but Anna's telling me to remind you to let people know about our live on Friday.
Yes. Okay. How are we doing on time? How are we doing here? Oh, we're almost at an hour. Perfect. So yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I really encourage you guys to at least give one bouquet away. You can mix them. You can use your extras. I know there's plenty of crepe paper in the kits to make more poppies. You'll just need some of the balls and some wire, but there's plenty of crepe paper. So I really encourage you to give them away. Take a photograph of either your finished bouquet or someone receiving it with their bouquet, and post it with #MadeWithLeah. And we are going to do a giveaway for you guys. We'll pick a winner probably, I'd say, the first week of May. It is May Day on what would that be? Saturday is May Day, May 1. So this is a fun little thing. We also have Mother's Day, so there's so much, so many reasons to give these flowers away. Also, May 14 is International Crepe Paper Flower Day, or is it national? Well, we're calling it international. So a lot of reasons to give these away, lots of graduations. We will be doing a giveaway. I think we're gonna draw our name. It will be completely random. So don't feel like it's because you didn't wrap it properly. It'll be completely random. And we will draw that and send you guys a fun little gift when we draw the winner. All right, and then for any of you who are joining us for our masterclass that starts, I believe May 4, it starts Monday, the first Monday of May, and I don't have my calendar in front of me. We will be doing a live on Friday the 30th at 11 o'clock. So I'll be doing a live kind of an intro to the class, giving you sort of an overview and some tips and tricks on getting started and prepping your space, and of course taking all of your questions. So that will be right here again. We'll send you all a link and we'll put it in the Facebook page as well. And we'll see you all on Friday, or hopefully, maybe all of you. Probably a bigger crowd, but yeah, we have a lot of people signed up for this round, and I'm really excited to get going again because we had so much fun the first time, and some of you here were there. So let everybody know. Yeah, if you haven't signed up for it yet, you have until Friday to sign up for the masterclass. All right, is there any leftover questions? Anything else anyone wants to cover? Are we good to go? All right. All right, you guys, enjoy these flowers. I cannot wait to see all of your photos, and let's just go spread more joy and love with crepe paper flowers. All right, see you later.